Hi everybody, it's Ginger. I'm back. We're going to do Ruth chapter 3. Remember in chapter 2, Ruth and her mother-in-law Naomi had returned from the Moab to the land of Bethlehem. And of course, they don't have a man now. So that puts them in a very difficult position as far as being able to support themselves and protect themselves. I don't know where they were living. I don't know all about that, although they came from there. So I'm assuming Naomi's husband, Elimelech, had stuff there. But let's just go straight into chapter 3. And, of course, back in chapter 2, Ruth, to provide for them, had went out to glean in the field of Boaz, not knowing that Boaz was a relative of Naomi and her late husband and all that. So this was really key. Remember, they showed up back in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest, and that was a key time for her to go out and glean in the fields and meet this person who owned the field, Boaz. So let's read chapter 3, and we'll just kind of get into it. There is some confusion I have about this chapter, but I keep looking into it, so we'll just go for it. Okay, chapter 3. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, my pups, they're fighting. They fight all the time. They fight over everything. They fight over me. They fight over toys. They fight over food. They fight over everything. Guys, shh. Sorry about that. Okay, let's start chapter 3 again. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, my daughter, shall I not seek security for you, that it may be well with you? Now, is not Boaz our kinsman, relative, with whose maid you were? Behold, he winnows barley at the threshing floor tonight. So let me talk a little bit about the threshing floor. Now, Bethlehem only had one threshing floor. And it says that he was winnowing barley. They would go to the threshing floor. They would throw the barley up in the air. The chaff, it would be a little windy in the evenings, and it would blow the chaff, the part that they couldn't eat away, and when it hit the ground, it might knock that chaff off too, and when it hit the floor. And so this threshing floor was outdoors. I don't know what they made it out of. Everybody went there. So Boaz would be at the threshing floor that night for a couple of reasons, I think, but part of it was to protect his harvest so that no one would steal it. So they would sleep there. And so Naomi, knowing how they did things, would know that. So she's telling him, Boaz is going to be at the threshing floor tonight, winnowing barley. She's giving Ruth instruction. Wash yourself, therefore, and anoint yourself, and put on your best clothes, and go down to the threshing floor. But do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. So I guess they would have kind of celebratory eating and drinking to celebrate their harvest. Look at my kitty. Hi, Kiki. Oh. Anyway. So anyway, she's sending Ruth down there. It shall be when he lies down, he's going to spend the night there. And maybe when the people that were spending the night there, maybe there was some separation between them because, anyway, let's just keep going. Go down to the threshing floor, but do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. It shall be when he lies down that you shall notice the place where he lies, and you shall go and uncover his feet and lie down. Then he will tell you what you shall do. She said to her, all that you say, I will do. So Naomi is telling her to go to the threshing floor, wait till Boaz lies down, wherever that might be, and to take his shoes off, uncover his feet, and lie down, or to uncover his feet, whatever that means, and lie down. And then he will tell you what to do. And so Ruth agrees to do this, okay? So she went down to the threshing floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law had commanded her. When Boaz had eaten and drunk his heart and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain. Who knows how big this grain is? I mean, I'm sure he had quite a harvest. And she came secretly and uncovered his feet and lay down. He doesn't realize that she's doing this. It happened in the middle of the night that the man was startled and bent forward, and behold, a woman was lying at his feet. He said, "Who are you?" And she answered, "I am Ruth, your maid. So spread your covering over your maid, for you are a close relative." Or redeemer. Another way to translate that word would be redeemer. Then he said, "May you be blessed of the Lord, my daughter. You have shown your last kindness to be better than the first by not going after young men, whether poor or rich. Now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you whatever you ask, for all my people in the city know that you are a woman of excellence." Even though Ruth has only been there for a while, she has shown herself, she's shown the good parts of her personality to the people in the town, and they look up to her. She left her false gods. She's taking care of her mother-in-law the best she can. She is working hard while she's there. So she's gained a positive reputation for herself. Okay. Now, it is true I am a close relative. However, there is a relative closer than I. Remain this night, and when morning comes, if he will redeem you, good. Let him redeem you. But if he does not wish to redeem you, then I will redeem you. As the Lord lives, lie down until morning. I don't understand all of this, but I understand some of this. So when she lays herself down at his feet, that's an act of submission. So she's looking at him as almost being like a master, okay? And she is looking to marry him. So it might sound like she's trying to pull some kind of sexual maneuver, but it's not really like that, because there is an innocence about her. But she is expressing interest in having him marry her. And back then, of course, and in this culture, it wasn't just married for relationship's sake. It's for survival's sake, for a woman like Ruth, who also has her mother-in-law, who is husbandless and sonless at this time. So when she lays down at his feet, that's an act of submission. She explains who she is. It's the middle of the night. She said, "Spread your covering over your maid, for you are a close relative." Basically, you can be my kinsman redeemer. You can marry me and have a child. The first child would be technically considered her late husband's child. And if he redeemed her or married her, he would also be responsible for, I don't know exactly what happened, but let's say that the late husband of Naomi, Elimelech, and his sons, if they had fields, in Bethlehem, which they likely did, he would also be responsible for buying those fields. If they had sold those fields to have enough money to live on, he would be responsible for buying them back. And not for necessarily for him, but for them. And, I'm sure he could make a living on it. I don't know exactly how that happened. So there was more to it than just taking on a wife. It was also like redeeming or buying back what they had lost. So where are we at? When she says, "Spread your covering over your maid," I read about that. What did I read about it? I'm trying to remember. What did I read about that? It seems like it was kind of a protective measure or showing. I'm going to look it up. Hold on. Let me grab my phone. I read something about that, and now I can't remember what I read. Let's see. Let me see if I can find anything about it here. Okay, this is gotquestions.org. What did it mean to spread the corner of your garment over someone? Naomi encouraged Ruth to go to Boaz at night. Let's see, hold on. When she says, "I am your servant, Ruth, spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian of our family. And the English Standard Version said, spread your wings. This ours said, so spread your covering over your maid. It means garment. It says the idea of matrimony appears in the context of Ruth's story as well, both in the phrase itself and in the response of Boaz. He answers Ruth's request by stating, this kindness is greater than what you showed earlier. Well, So, sorry guys, I should have remembered this. I guess they think it was Ruth's way of asking Boaz to marry her in obedience to Naomi's directions. And Boaz, so it's kind of her way of saying, marry me. And it was, in God's law that a man should redeem, usually it was a brother, but here the closest relative possible should redeem a widow. So, and he would not only be responsible for Ruth, but also Naomi since she was older. Now he says, now it is true I am a close relative. However, there is a relative closer than I. So Boaz knows of a relative that's closer relationship than he is biologically. And so he's going to ask that relative if he wants to redeem Ruth because that's the way it was done. And if not, then he will do it. Remain this night, and when morning comes, if he will redeem you, good. Let him redeem you. But if he does not wish to redeem you, then I will redeem you. As the Lord lives, lie down until morning. So she lay at his feet, again an act of submission, until morning and rose before one could recognize another. So people are getting up. People have been sleeping out in this area, guarding their harvest. But it's too early for them to really recognize each other in the dark and whatnot. And he said, let it not be known that the woman came to the threshing floor. Again he said, give me the cloak that is on you and hold it. So she held it, and he measured 6 measures of barley and laid it on her. Then she went into the city. 6 measures of barley. They had already gotten, remember, quite a bit. I'm going to look up that. How much was that? Doesn't say here. About 2.5 gallons, which was a lot. Okay. When she came to her mother-in-law, she said, how did it go, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done for her. She said, these 6 measures of barley he gave to me, for he said, do not go to your mother-in-law empty-handed. So Boaz is really thinking of redeeming these people. It's not simply romantic. There's more to it than that, although it seems like he is interested in her. Okay, so then she said, wait, my daughter, until you know how the matter turns out, for the man will not rest until he has settled it today. So they're going to wait and see what Boaz does because he still has to talk to this relative. Anyway, when Jesus died to pay for the sins of mankind, he redeems us, buys us back from Satan, from death, from sin, from the devil. And it's a similar picture to that. He's saving her if he marries her, he saves her. And Jesus saves all who believe and trust in him to save them from their sins. He redeems them or buys them back from hell, from Satan, basically. And so it's kind of a picture of that. Boaz is like a Christ-like figure, again, pointing to Jesus Christ. So there's a lot to that. I'd like to know more about why she uncovers his feet. And I'm going to dig into that and see if I can find anything else. But I hope you have a great week, and I'll join you next time.